Hey, happy video day! This video was inspired because I just finished seeing a palette that just got me so confused. Because of that palette specifically, I decided to do a whole video on other palettes that have done the same travesty. So what this video is going to be all about is packaging that ruined makeup. And this is basically all about eyeshadow palettes that their packaging basically ruined it for the eyeshadow palette. Not that the eyeshadow palette was bad. Some of them probably were bad, but it's just the packaging was just so off that it just like ruined the makeup. So if you guys are new here, my name is Christina Brooke. I love to talk about makeup. So if you guys like makeup, hit the subscribe button and let's go ahead and let's get into all of these makeup palettes that I don't understand what happened. Yes, I did. Alright guys, so I'm going to start off the first one with the palette that basically influenced this entire video to actually be filmed. And that is from KYLIE Cosmetics and is her summer 2018 eyeshadow palette that she's literally releasing like right now. So it's going to be either released by the time this video airs or it's going to be being released pretty soon. And this eyeshadow palette was the inspiration of this video because when I saw this eyeshadow palette, I literally went, I don't like it. And then I kind of looked at it a little bit more and I was like, well, why don't I like this? And then I kept looking at it and I was like, I know why I don't like it. I hate that orange. It was like it's a hot orange packaging, hot orange. And I can understand the exterior being hot orange and I like the comic book theme look of the exterior. But the problem is the face of where the eyeshadows is hot orange. If you guys look at most eyeshadow palettes, sometimes they try to leave the face alone. That's where you see like the actual individual eyeshadow pans. If you're using like a black or a beige or a brown or something that isn't too overpowering and kind of matches everything, it kind of makes the eyeshadows stand alone and you can see the eyeshadows really well. But in this palette, they used hot orange. I finally realized that the reason that I didn't like this palette had nothing to do with the colors. It was because the colors were being washed out so much by that hot orange that I couldn't even enjoy or appreciate the colors. And so I started actually looking at the palette without the hot orange. Like I was like, just don't look at the orange. It was very difficult. And I started to notice that the colors really weren't even that ugly. The colors were actually pretty and I actually liked some of the colors in this palette. But that orange was so overpowering that even though I even like the colors in the palette, I can already see that it's going to be hard for me to come up with makeup looks because it just doesn't play. It's kind of like if you put two colors that are not supposed to be together and you just decide to put every single eyeshadow color that shouldn't be mixed with that color and you just throw it all together. Like that's what I felt. And like I was looking at it and there's like a peachy tone in there that's actually really pretty, but because of that hot orange, like I couldn't even see it. And then there's some beiges and browns and the colors are actually not that bad. It's just that packaging destroyed the palette for me. And unfortunately, because of that, I don't like the palette. Now, if they would have just used a simple black face, or if it would have even been like white, or if it would have been beige, or if it would have been brown, probably would have liked it. But because of the color of the packaging, I'm not gonna buy this product. So yeah, that was a packaging flop for me. Alright guys, so another packaging flop that I recently saw was the Urban Decay Back Talk palette. Now this is a palette that was released this year too. I think it was either this year or last year, but I think it was this year. And this was like a face and eye palette and in the middle they had this mirror. But it was such a confusing palette because when you would open it up, you just have like this mirror sticking out and you could pop out the mirror so that if you want to hold it, but it's kind of like too floppy. You know what I mean? Like I saw people opening it up and then the mirror was flying this way and then they would open it, the mirror would fall this way, the mirror would fall out and everybody was like, oh my God. It just looked like such a pain in the butt. Like it would almost be like you need to take that mirror out and put it somewhere, but then it just like isn't perfectly closing. So I was looking at it going, ooh, I don't like that packaging and that a mirror is really annoying. Like I know it was a cool like idea like they tried to come up with, but it just didn't work well. And I saw a lot of people like trying to open the package and the mirror was like falling out, or they were trying to take the mirror out and oh, I think I'll take this mirror out. And I think that that was a packaging flop. Alright guys, so this is from Kat Von D. Now I know a lot of people like this palette and that is the Saint and Sinners palette. And I think that the quality of the palette is supposed to be very good. And that has nothing to do with the quality of the palette. Remember guys, we're only talking about packaging here. Quality of palettes, I have no idea. Some of them I know, some of them I don't. But in this case, I've heard that it has good quality, but they kind of made the design like to look like a cathedral. And I understand it was kind of like an interesting theme, and the interior was kind of supposed to look like the stained glass of the cathedrals. Like, it's interesting, but the problem is that this is an eyeshadow palette, and that eyeshadow palette was like ginormous. So like, you have all of this space inside of this huge palette, and now you're not going to have use of all that space, and now you've got to store this ginormous thing. And I was looking at it going, why would I want that? Like, I know the colors are very pretty, but that's such a ginormous packaging, and it's not like you get 40 colors in it. So like, I can see if I buy a big palette and it has like 40 colors, and you're like, well, this is a huge palette, but I have 40 colors. Kind of like how Morphe palettes are, that they're just so big, but when you open it up, it's like literally colors all the way down. This was just like design. And I don't want a palette to look at it like a book. I don't want a palette to look at it like a painting. I want a palette to use the colors inside. So to me, it's just way too big, and I can see a lot of people getting turned off by that. And also, you have to pay extra for bigger packaging because it's costing them more to make all these designs and stuff. And I would rather pay less and have no design and just give me the product. All right, guys, so we're gonna talk about a product from STILA. So this product came out like around 2010, around there, and it was called the Color Wheel Eyeshadow. And there was two products that came out from STILA that I'm gonna talk about, but this was called the Color Wheel Eyeshadow Palette. Guys, this is so confusing. Like, for me, I could probably kind of figure things out, but I can see how 90% of the population would just be like, where do I start? It's just the way that they laid this out. Like, I see that they were trying to come up with like a cool looking cutesy theme looking thingy majiggy, but it just doesn't work. This isn't a painting, you know what I mean? Again, it's not a painting, so you have to make it user friendly, and this was so non-user friendly. Like, I could see so many people probably just looking at this and being like, a cute design, it was just done wrong. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's too difficult to figure out. And then they didn't want to stop at that. So in 2013, around there, they came out with another one called the STILA Dream in Full Color. And if they wanted to confuse you before, they said, you guys weren't confused before, I'm gonna confuse you even more now. So they came out with this one, and this looks so confusing, guys. Like, I can totally agree with somebody saying, what? Like, how? It looks like a painting as well. And yes, for art, it looks like a beautiful piece of art. You can frame that little baby, put him up on a wall, and he'll probably look so pretty. But when you're trying to come up with eye look, like, you kind of want to see all of the colors in the same pan size, you know what I mean? Or if it's the pan size is different, you don't want it a bunch of different shapes, because you're kind of trying to come up with a look, and you're trying to mix blues with yellows with greens, and this is just too everywhere. Like, it's just too confusing. I just thought it was like, I don't know, guys. I didn't like this at all. So another flop to me was from LORAC. So LORAC came out with their Disney Beauty and the Beast collection, and I love some of the pieces of this collection, and I do think that the eyeshadow palette was really good. Actually, my mom actually purchased the eyeshadow palette, and she loves the colors in it. But the reason that I know this is a flop is because the thing that she continues to tell me was, why is it so bulky? Like, it's such a bulky product, because they wanted to put like all the Beauty and the Beast look, like, you know, like make it look all Beauty and the Beast-ish. But because of that, they made like this really thick cardboard, and it had like all this Beauty and the Beast stuff, and then you only got a few little eyeshadows in there, and the rest of it was just wasted space cardboard. So like, she loves the palette, but she hates the packaging. It's almost like one of those that you want to depot and like put it in its own like little Z palette, because it's just so bulky. Like, how do you even take that on vacation? Sometimes it's hard to store, and like, it's pretty, and I understand it's like a novelty type of thing, but guys, it's eyeshadow at the same time. Like, you need to put it on, you need to store it, you need to put it away, and it's so bulky. So that was a packaging flop, I think. I mean, I understand that they don't come out with these all the time, and they're like little like theme type of things, but I wish that they would just maybe just make the packaging small, put the theme kind of like on the front, and put the theme on the back, and then just leave the inside alone and just put the eyeshadows. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't need to be all everywhere. So the last one that I'm going to tell you guys about, this was another one that I just thought was, I didn't understand this one. This one was from Dose of Colors, and this came out like in 2017, and it was called the Hidden Treasures. And I don't get this one. They made all the eyeshadows like kind of like crooked, and like when you look at it, you're like, Like, I'm only getting a few eyeshadows here, and why are they all crooked? Almost like trying to waste space. That's what it makes you feel like. I'm sure that this was just a design idea, but it looks like, are they trying to waste space here so that I don't get that many eyeshadows? And when you open it, it's just, now they're all crooked, and you're looking at this thing and you're almost like, well, which color should I use? You know what I mean? And I just personally don't like it like that. I feel like if you are going to be putting things in angles, at least have a few angled together that work together, and then a few angled together that work together, and kind of like try to fill up the whole space, and don't show me so much cardboard, because when I see the cardboard, I think, where's my makeup? This to me was such a flop, and I think a lot of people didn't like the way everything was like all crooked and stuff, and I just don't understand it. To me, it was just, I don't get it. I don't get it. So I am sure there's so many more brands, and I'm sure there's so many more packagings that were terrible, but these are a few of the ones that I was able to find in order to put in this video, and obviously I don't want to make this video extremely long, so I would love for you guys to leave me your comments below and let me know what other brands, what other palettes did you guys think the packaging literally ruined the eyeshadow palette. Because if it wasn't for that packaging, you probably would have purchased it, or if it wasn't for that packaging, it probably would have been one of your favorites, but because of the packaging, you're kind of like, ugh. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me your thumbs up, leave me your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. When my face appears somewhere down, when my face appears somewhere around down here, if you click on my face, you will subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yes, I did.